October 31st, Halloween for us in the real world, continuing to be Shades Eve in the game world. And today is a special stream. We are doing the CBDC showcase for the month of October. Let me put my tweet out and apologize in advance. I am still suffering from the cold cooties, so I'm going to try and not cough all over the place, but just fair warning, if I start hacking, that's probably why. I've just been having a lot of trouble, headaches, everything. It's been really bad, so bear with me. Morning, Aurora. As you can see, I'm kind of dressed for the occasion. I don't know if you can guess what I am, but it's probably the scariest monster of all. It's the vegetables. They were my nemesis most of my life, and as some of you know, the background behind my name, my in-game name, it's more to do with me coming to terms with eating my vegetables. So carrot just seemed to be the one that I adapted to the most easily at the beginning. So it's kind of a running theme with me now. So I even have my little baby carrot with me. So I'm the mama carrot and I've got the baby one with me. So hopefully it doesn't scare anyone off, but I didn't want to do any kind of makeup or anything because one, I'm probably allergic to it, and two, it's not my thing to have a lot of stuff on my face. Anyway, yes, or I am feeling better. Thank you for asking. It's just I continue to have the irritation with the throat, so I have a lot of coughing still, and I've been having really bad migraines. This past weekend has been super bad with that. It kind of goes off a little bit and then it comes back, so we'll see. Anyway, we've got a huge lineup of amazing, just astounding works by our WildStar builders, so I want to get to that. We're starting today off on NA entity side. We didn't have any Dominion ones submit their works, but we have 3 on Exile side that we're going to be taking a look at. So what we're doing is we're going to hop on. We're here at the entity, then we're going to switch over to Jabbit. We'll visit the Dominion side first, and then we'll hop over to Exile side. So if you're here hoping to catch a glimpse of your works, just bear with me. We'll get through them all. Just I want to thank everyone that has participated in this CBDC. It's been very inspiring to see all of the creations that have come from it, and I hope you enjoy them as much as I have, and of course I hope the builders enjoyed building them. Again, these custom built decor challenges are just that. There's no prizes, no rewards necessarily, other than the showcases and stuff that we do. It's just a way of kind of focusing the community, the building community, into, I don't know, distracting projects, I guess is probably the best way to say it. Sometimes those in housing, they are working on a particular plot or some such for months at a time, and it can be pretty draining. I've heard a lot of people saying they've had to take breaks from housing due to burnout or builder's block per se, and it's just sometimes it's helpful to work on something else to kind of get you out of your funk. So these projects hopefully will serve that purpose, but also inspire to get out of your own comfort zone. A lot of us build the same types of things over and over. We have those that focus on mechanical type of things, like a lot of vehicles and spaceships and boats and rockets and things like that, and others that are more into the nature type of stuff, having beautiful landscapes and things. And sometimes these little projects, these challenges that we do every month, kind of help give you an extra incentive to break out of your norm and to try new decor combinations to come up with things. So this is our October themed monsters CBDC. I challenged the builders of the WildStar community to come up with either well-known monsters from, movies, books, or they could make up their own. So we have a combination of both. Hey, Poi, good morning. Glad you could make it. Am I streaming later than usual? Actually, it's 8 for me, and that's partly due to the time change, I'm pretty sure. For us, it's switched already. We've moved, what is it, forward an hour or later? All I know is it should be like, I don't know, I guess it used to be 9 and now it's 8. I don't know. All I know is our time changed. So apologies if it's kind of messed up some folks with planning their schedule out. I assume that the rest of the world will catch up with us in a week or two. So hopefully that doesn't confuse too many people. But it's 8 o'clock my time, so we're good to go. And good morning, Faye and Bones and anyone else that happens to be lurking around in the channel. Okay, so we have started on, as I said, we're on NA entity side. We have a few NA builders that were kind enough to share their monster creations. This is the plot of Yolana Fitch, aka Syrinda. It's called Fortress Valley, and you can see there's a nice little bit of scene out here. But our focus is what Siri called the swamp monster, I think is what they named it. Kind of like an octopus deal. Basically, they've used the foliage, the trees. I can't remember exactly what the name of this one is. It's directly off the housing vendor, and it's not a cheap item, so they splurged. Using the thinker head for the face. Again, all of those mossy tendrils. And I believe it's the red lanterns for that glowy eye effect. Well, I'm glad it worked out. It's probably going to confuse my parents because we get together every first Sunday of the month, and so we have a meeting with them. Well, I say a meeting, an appointment. It's not an appointment. It sounds too formal. We're supposed to catch up with them this next weekend, and I'm afraid we're going to have some confusion about the hour because I think their time is getting ready to change, or it already has, or something. So they're a little confused about it, but anyway, so this is the swamp monster. There's really not much else to say about it other than it is in a swamp. It kind of reminds me of like the troll under the bridge. It's this little squid-like tentacle kind of thing coming up. It almost reminds me of like, what's that lady with the snakes in her hair? The Medusa? Is that it? I think it's Medusa. But yeah, this just a good example. You can use just about anything. They've used basically just moss-covered tree bits, and I want to say this is just the mossy. I can't even think of the name of it. Mossy something. Look up mossy, and I'm sure you'll find it. But you'll notice some of the tentacle parts, they're just twisted certain ways so that they can get the tendrils to be in the position that they want. Like I said, though, these aren't that cheap on the housing vendor. But I really like this idea. It's simple. It's completely out of their imagination. It's not, anything per se designed by something. That's, I think, to me, it's harder to do, to actually create something out of your own imagination and then have it, people can identify it and say, okay, this is a swamp monster, rather than having something and they go, well, what is that? It just looks like a jumble of stuff. But yeah, so that's Yolana Finch, swamp monster. So the next one is on the plot of Gin Fizz. This is, most of us, I think, know this one as Nexus Cupcake on Twitter. They were having some fun with the more familiar type of monsters. Now, this is called Unplottable, and if you can't tell by the scene, I believe this is Hogwarts. I'm not actually going to tour it per se because it's not necessarily to our theme or even Shades Eve in general. It's just the witches and wizards school, but I thought I'd mention it because those of you that do have access, I would recommend having a look. But you can see we have the Ghostbusters here doing their little Ghostbustery thing, and there's Mr. Stay Puft, the marshmallow monster. A very fun idea. You'll see that some builders, great minds think alike. We'll be seeing another one of these in a little while. But again, it's interesting, even though we might have two people that have tackled the same exact creature, you can see there's similarities, but there's also differences in how they approached it. And so it's interesting to see what they perceive as maybe the key elements that they want to show. Like here's the little sailor bow tie, and of course they got the sailor hat. Now most of his body is constructed of the ice rock blocks, either squares, um, the arches, or the cornerstones. But like his belly and I think his feet and maybe even the palms of his hands look to me to be snow clumps. His blue sailor shirt type of thing looks to be the locked exile chest. And then all of the other red accents, the little bow and the little tassel on his hat, appear to be the firework decor, the red dynamite from the Starfall collection. It's kind of hard to tell at this distance, and I really can't get up close to him to see the details, but it looks like the black part, the base of the hat, the sailor hat, looks to be like a tire, and either this is a gray stone with some maybe I want to say his eyebrows are like the hanging cables, and then maybe some vent tanks for the eyes, that kind of thing. It's again kind of tough to tell from this distance, but you know, this looks gray, like a gray stone, and then maybe the wires to kind of give it a little bit of an extra line for his mouth. But what an awesome job. I mean, I can't imagine trying to. I wonder if they built him small first and then just enlarged him, or they built it that size to begin with. Sometimes I find that it's easier to kind of build at a medium size and then reduce or enlarge as necessary. That way it's just easier to work around. I don't have to, you know, climb a ladder or something to get to him. But let's see if we can go this way, look at his head a little better. You can see he's pretty plump. And of course, him being a three-dimensional character, they've had to take care of it all the way around. So there's several of those chests. Looks like a dome for the little tassel topper there. He's the big fella though. Giant marshmallow. So there you go. That is Gin Fizz, aka Nexus Cupcakes monster submission, the giant marshmallow man, Mr. Stay Puft. Now Nexus also did Moody Stein Castle from, if I remember right. Oops. That's on Harley Quinn, Quin. I don't know if it's spelled exactly like the character that it's after, but called the Chaos Castle. I call it Moody Stein Castle, but it's kind of Moody Stein slash Frankenstein. And this one, I kind of want to take a look at the plot in its entirety. I know I don't really do tours on NA side, but we're here, and it's pertinent to the theme, it being a full-fledged Shades Eve slash Halloween styled plot. There's really not a whole lot going on the outside. You can see that they've covered up the Osun house with the crowded graves, and then lit that up with windows and such to make it look like this strange, elaborate castle type of thing. There are a couple of other fab kits and such out here. You can see that they're using the brambles for the forest, the creepy forest, with extra additions. Like there's that creepy, um, oh, creepy something, leaning creep tree, I think. And there's like little nooks and crannies where you'll see some apparition NPCs and things. But I do want to definitely take a little bit more closer look on the interior than just the monster that Nexus Cupcake put together. So the way I understand it, they wanted these rooms to be reminiscent of famous or new and old like horror films, from what I understand. I think this one is The Shining. I really don't remember. I haven't actually seen the movie myself. I just remember the scene. You see screenshots of it. But it's like a little kid on a bike, a little tricycle thing, and he comes across these two twins. And of course, they're using the apparition orange to represent that. But I thought it was kind of a cute idea to have all these little glimpses of these horror films in each room. So I'm thinking this is The Shining. Of course, they're using the effigy doll for the little rider. The tricycle itself looks to be, honestly, I'm not sure what that is. It looks like one of those Osun pieces, but I don't know exactly which piece. But it's got the tires, and of course, for the handlebars is the hanging cable. Over here, I didn't see a raven, but this reminds me of Edgar Allan Poe's kind of scene where he's in the study and is getting creeped out. Of course, that's not Lenore being pictured, but um, it just has that feel to it to me. But what a lovely little room. Remember, the Osun house is very segmented in all of its rooms, and Nexus Cupcake has done a great job at decorating these up. Um, I especially love the fireplace. Looks to be a lot of the um, Gothic pillars, even for the front face here of the fireplace itself. Again, it looks to be it's either the Winterfest one, I think it's that one, or the Exile one. It's one of the two. It kind of looks like the Exile one here, but this part, I don't remember that. So I don't know. It might be just some added bits that they put in. But 2x4s for most of the, what do you call it, the hearth build itself, with the pillars being the accents around. It looks really classy. I'm going to have to grab myself a ton of those pillars on several of my characters just to make sure I have lots to go around. And of course, we've got the mandatory floating books off of the shelves. Okay, over here we have the dining room. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be reminiscent of a specific movie, but again, for those of you that were looking for a creepy setting, this was a good example. I like the simplicity of the table. It's just two big, long 2x4s stuck together to make this long dining thing. It looks very classic, old, you'd picture it in an old, film. The cobwebs, I believe, come from one of the eggs, and they've got the eggs sunk down into the floor so that you just see it, just because of the way it looks. Could be the augmented one since it's green colored. And again, they're using the apparition NPCs to kind of play on that. Let's see, we'll save that room for last. Let's go this way. This, I think, is supposed to be Exorcist. It's got the girl in the bed and her eyes are creepy. She's not vomiting or anything, but that's what it reminds me of. I'm not sure. I probably should have asked her if this was what this represented. I just know it's supposed to be different movies, but the bed itself is made of several different sleeping bags. I like the little lamp. It's just a cylinder on top of a plant vase, making it look like a top of lamp. Of course, the glowing eyes, again, those are the red lanterns for that creepy effect. Over here is the bathroom. Got the ugly toilet, pretty much standard sink, you know, the basin and the sink itself. But this is apparently Psycho. For those of you that know, it's the lady in the shower. She's got the blonde hair, and then the guy with the woman's wig on with the knife coming to get her. It's kind of a funny thing. Then, of course, if we go into the kitchen, again, I don't know if this is supposed to be reminiscent of a particular scene in a movie, but you can see that the marauder zombies, the space zombies, pirate zombies, space pirate zombies, whatever you want to call them, they work well with the Shades Eve / Halloween themes. They look creepy, bony, of course, and, you know, just looking really ragtag there. Love the little stove and fridge. Looks like just lots of medical tables, possibly vent tanks or some other kind of tank for those. Even tables for this part here. Looks like maybe posters for the rest, the darker parts. And I didn't even think about using that Soul Frost goo, but that's a good thing for, you know, for your little buffet, your spooky buffet, having that creepy ghost stuff in a bowl of some sort. Now there is a little secret passage here. They've got the taurine stone door right behind the pantry here, and that leads down into the secret lab. Look at this wallpaper here. I have no idea which one that is, but it's suitable. So into the lab we go, and we have a variety of things. I believe this is supposed to be the oh, what's it called? I don't remember the plant's name. I think it had a name. It's the one from Little Shop of Horrors. You know, Seymour's the one that's feeding it the blood and the peoples and stuff. Didn't it have a name? I think it did. Can't remember. Starts with an A, maybe? I can't think of it, but I think that's what this is supposed to represent. And basically, this is one of those gloomy plants. That's not the technical name. I just can't think of it. Often on these shows, I just kind of draw a complete blank on names, but I think it's just, it's usually 3 or 4 of them together in a little clump, and they've just enlarged it and singled out the one. Audrey. I think that's it. Audrey is the plant name. Then they used the new Malvarine NPC that you can collect as a werewolf. So they set up a little scene with the moon, a little bit of a mountain scene as well. So he's out in the forest. I thought it was a cute idea, even though they didn't actually make the monster per se. I like that they've chosen to put it in these little like biome kind of places. I have no idea what they're using for the moon. I think obsidian stones for the rocks, and of course all the trees and things are trees and things. Over here we have what presumably would be Dracula's bed. This is the coffin that you can get in-game. I believe it comes from the Boxing Gym Fab Kit. It's a possible drop if you complete the challenge, but it's not very easy to do to get a hold of. I think they're using a empty Osun weapon rack for this little part here. Really nice touch though. Over here we have a couple of captives. I believe the cage is just made out of the spiked coffin, like two of them stuck together, and that's what the cage is been made out of. And they've got a couple of captives here. This is like a little torture rack that they've got. Some chains and clamps for the arms and legs and the neck. Over here we have the swamp monster. Again, they've chosen an existing NPC. It's a newer one, but it's not something they created. And just put a little bit of a biome for it to kind of tell you, okay, this is the swamp monster. Cap of a bottle. It could be. It very well could be. It's nice and shiny. It's either a bottle or, yeah, I'm gonna say it's probably that. It doesn't look to be the firework, the white rocket or red rocket. It doesn't seem to be that one, as that one has a distinct shape and color. I'm not sure what this is supposed to represent, but it's kind of like a nifty way of giving a little bit of an eerie feel to maybe a faux door. They're using, I think it's the pet crypt for the door. It has that nice latticed entranceway, and then it looks to be either a upside down medical cot, or it could be one of the hologram bits, either the short one or the really long one. Give that little special glow. Of course, over here is Dr. Moody Stein. Again, he's not a creationist, just an NPC that you can get. It's a, I think it's called the Moody Surgeon. And they've set up a small little lab for them, or for him. He's got his little tray of nasty tools. If I can get my head out of the way. A closer look at the tools. Using the spade. They've got it turned around so that that gap shows. If you flip it the other way, it's solid, but it's hollow if you flip it this way. So it's a nice little pitchfork kind of thing. And of course, the little lab cabinet here. Again, it's the medical tables and some hammers for the handles. That's one of the holographic things, hologram thingies. I don't know what they're called. Makes it look like there's like a little ray. Then if you go up the little staircase here, nice use of this platform. This platform here is actually part of the house, and it's always fun to see what people do with it. And so they're using this as the elevated part for where the Moody Stein's monster is being revived or animated, however you want to say it. So first we have, I guess this is supposed to be Igor bringing up the tools. So you have this little tray, wheels, and again it's just medical tables. There's two of them, feet to feet, to make that double fit, and pillars and 2x4 for the handle there. And then Moody Stein's monster, which is kind of a play on Frankenstein. He looks to be made out of mostly the medium bottles for this part, and then the tall ones for the arms. And just due to the light, it's really hard to see what else is being used here. I know the head is the ruby-eyed thinker, but I can't tell what all these other parts are. It's just this too dark. I think it's it looks like it could be, there's a little bit of green color to it, so maybe it's Hugel statues that are just sandwiched together to make the long legs, and then I'm not sure about the shoes. I know I used uh, boxes of bolts. That might be something that they use, sandwich them together to get the feet. For the bolts on his neck, again, it kind of looks like a light post, but then it's awfully short. So I really don't know. Hard to tell. But I love the idea. Obviously, you know, we're looking for monsters, and this seems to work really well. Looks like, I don't know what that is. Not familiar, or I don't recognize it, I should say. But notice they do have the pulley system, because so this is supposed to be kind of like it's an elevated, you know, it can be raised up and down using the lamp and then the chains. And then if you look up, they've added that new the diorama base, the space one, to make it look like open sky, uh, as if it's access to the outside, and that's where the lightning is coming in. So a very clever little idea. Got that nice gear there for part of the pulley system. So that is Harley Quinn, aka Nexus Cupcakes, Moody Stein's monster. Yes, it could be Obsidian Stones and Tires. It's very possible. The tires, though, I want to say that these aren't tires, because I know for a fact the tires disappear pretty quick at the size these are. Those don't disappear too fast. So I don't know. We'd have to ask Nexus, I guess. Okay, so I'm going to switch off the Be Right Back, and I'm going to switch regions real quickly. I say quickly, and it's taking a moment. But that was the entries from NA Entity. It's always nice to hop over there. I know I haven't really spent too much time on that side of things. It's just I'm a native to the Europe side, having played on that region, and so that's where most of my focus stays. Excuse me. Almost ready. Gotta hang in there, try not to cough myself out. Okay, we are back on Jabet EU. We are on Dominion side, because the first visit is to not Yolana's, Valerie's place. Now you'll remember Valerie's place from our showcase last week. That's possible, Aurora, for the shoes. It's really hard to tell. Again, when you're using the dark lighting, it kind of makes it hard to see the details. Anyway, we visited Valerie's place last week for the spooky house tours. So you may recall this one. But she did specifically ask that I include this in the monster showcase. So this is Valerie's garden monster, I think is what they called it. Again, it's using some of the natural elements, because I guess it's supposed to be made up of the garden bits, the overgrown garden. So you can see that they use some of the the mangrove trees, the roots as the claws, and then of course the thinker head again for that evil looking face, using the red lanterns as accents for those eyes. And then I think it's the lop doomstick for the horns, just an added extra little creepiness. But again, I admire those that can come up with these creatures off the top of their head. I always have to have a reference of some sort, but this would be something from somebody's nightmare, I'm sure. But that's on Valerie Pyros's Tranquil Sanctuary plot on Dominion side Jabbit EU. Okay, so let me switch again to Exile side. Come on. Like when you want to go fast, it takes sweet time. Loading, loading, loading. Here we go. And we're back. So this is my plot. We'll go ahead and start there since we're already there. I'm probably sick of seeing these because I've been showing them off and on in different states of finishedness. But I want to include it in this particular video so that it's all together in one place. So this is my, I call him Frankie. It's my version of Frankenstein. It's just obsidian stones for just his body, his pants, his shirt sleeves. That's all the same bits. Thinker heads for not only his head, but for the palms of his hands. Green pillows for the fingers, and boxes of bolts for his shoes. Hammers for the bolts on his neck. And that's about it. Pretty simple. It's just a few, in several items, but it's pretty simplified compared to most of my junk that I try to put together. Go off inside the haunted house fab kit, and we see the witch painting we did on the stream not long ago. Let's see the other monster. We did the skeleton in the casket, and of course we have Frankie's bride, the bride of Frankie. The witch is just, it's almost entirely vent tanks. The only thing that isn't, I think, is the string of the spider. That's the edge of the, oh, it's the wall shelf, the Marauder wall shelf, I think is what it is. For the skeleton, it's all one item. It's the weighted funeral urn. It's just, I think it's 14 of those twisted and turned specifically so that certain parts of it show, and that's what the entire skeleton is made out of. And then of course Frankie's bride, her hair is tires. The stripes in her hair are the ice rock arches. Her the neck, the bodice, and the little ruffles on the bottom of her like gown kind of thing, that's all the red rockets, just the white part showing. And her arms are the lop jugs. It's just two of them together, very tediously placed so that it looks the way it does. Her face and everything is a combination of, I think it's vent tanks, Orin domes. Her mouth parts are, I think it's, yeah, the red rockets. It's the red part showing this time. It's the same rocket as the body, but it's just different parts showing. And of course the nose is the dome as well. Just kept her kind of simple on the face. I think that's it, really. There's not too many other monsters. I did add a little witch hat to one of the effigies. That's about the latest thing, I think. And that's about it for mine. So on to the better stuff. First we've got Bones' plot, Ludwig Kaspkin. This one, again, we toured a little bit of it last week. It's not complete yet. It's a work in progress, but they did take the time to make a troll, a bridge troll. So you have him with his big stick here. Again, it's dark, so it's really hard to see unless you come and get a really up close look. But they're using stones for his body and the thinker head for his face. Coming to this side, you kind of see the swirly stones, the designs as part of his legs and feet. Again, it's really hard to see because it's dark, but he's there. He's creeping around, ready to scare off visitors. So that's the troll from Bones. Then we have Bucky's collection. I feel like I'm speeding through these, but there's really not a whole lot to say about each other than what they're made out of, and to praise the builders for such awesome work. I'm so happy that so many of you was able to build stuff. Now, Poi, I went to take a look at your place because I know you said that you were thinking about working on a monster, but I never could find anything. But I want to say, Poi, I love the crypt that you've got on. I think it's Lily's place. That place looks awesome. I may go ahead and drop by there sometime. Well, I'm going to wait until you're done with it because I think it's still in progress, but I love the way you did some of the graves. So this is Donna Troy, Garden of Troy. It's basically one of Bucky's, like, it's kind of like his CBDC junkyard. He's got many of his older entries still laying around. And these are his entries for the monster one. So first off, we have a gargoyle. The wings, of course, are from the stone crypt statue. You can see a little part of it. I think he did his best to hide most of it, but I think this is part of it as well. Most of the body parts are exile cylinders, tubes, domes, that kind of thing. The spikes on the tail are the, what do you call it, the warning cones. The claws on his feet and hands are the Falcon fence posts, the one with the little rope coming off of it. I've used it for claws and stuff myself. But for like the teeth and the horns on the face, it looks like one of the Moody masks. I don't know which one. And then it looks like the eye splotch for his eyes, and then he capped it, to give it lids using additional domes. And then again, the falcon fences for the rows of horns. But a lot of detail. Very creepy looking. A lot better than the golem, or not the golem, but the gargoyle I've been trying to put together for my husband. I may have to ask Bucky if we can get a copy of this and give it to my hubby. Yeah, Lily's place is nice. His second entry was a griffin. For anyone that likes Harry Potter or World of Warcraft or any other place that has a big flying lion bird looking thing, this is your thing. The wings are 2x4s. You can see how I had to space them out to make it look like wings. The main furry part is it's not the wheatgrass, but it's like the Daridoon grass tuft or something. It's the really brown one, and it's got some like tall. You can see how it sticks out at the back. Um, Using that for the mane. The head is some of those ice rock block pieces. The eyes are green pillows, and the beak appears to be the that window, the dark keyhole window for the beak. Very clever use of that. A single piece and you get just the perfect shape that you need. Looks like the Algarock tall grass for the furry part, the feathery bits on his legs, the front legs. And it appears to be either Orin or Exile pillars for the front feet. And for the back, it's metal-edged 2x4s and domes for like the little hoof part. And then, of course, a hanging cable for the tail with a little tuft of that brown grass again on the end. Who wouldn't want this as a mount to ride around on? Fly around. Yeah, I just wish once you unlocked it with one character, it was unlocked with all of them. You didn't have to worry about leveling. And of course, then we have the alternate version of Mr. Stay Puft. We saw Nexus Cupcake's version of Stay Puft at the Hogwarts castle. Well, this is Bucky's version. And you can see it's relatively the same idea, but they've approached it differently. You know, the big belly part on Cupcake's one is mostly giant snow clumps, whereas Bucky has chosen to use I guess it's the, what's it called? The arch, not the archway, the cornerstones to make the belly. Where Cupcake used the firecrackers for the bows and everything, Bucky's using the red drapes. I think Cupcake used the locked exile chest for the blue part, and it looks like Bucky's using books. So there's similarities, the idea is there, but the build itself is different. And again, this is another prime example of I don't want people, you know, I hear sometimes when we work on these projects, someone will go, well, I don't want to do that because someone's already doing it. Don't worry about that, because this is a clear example of where two people had the same idea, but they approached it differently. And I find that fun and helpful, because it shows that people, well, I don't have to have that exact item to replicate something. I can just modify it to what, you know, maybe Bucky used pieces that he happened to have on hand, that kind of thing. I like that, you know, it shows people there are lots of options to be able to make a similar thing, but using different pieces. While a lot of the pieces are similar, there's a lot of differences too. And that's what I love about it. So his face, I think, again, it's really hard to tell from a distance. It looks like maybe the rims of bowls or domes or something for the circles around the eyes. Again, it could be a tire or several books together for his little sailor cap. Again, it's really hard to tell from a distance, but Bucky, of course, is known for his vehicles and things, so he went to the extra effort of putting a vehicle together. I think he just looks for excuses to throw a vehicle in. One of these days, I'm going to do a vehicle CBDC, and he's just going to go completely nuts. I'm going to have to, you know, really be specific about what is allowed and what isn't, and force him to, do something a little different than he normally does. But you can see again, he's got his Ghostbusters. He even gave them little, I don't know what you call it, those little packs on the back. Obviously, they don't move with the NPCs, but the idea is cute. But he went through the trouble of putting them together. It's like a detonator, a mine, and one of those new protostar windows. And then he has a bunch of cables, and he's got that attached to one of the magnetized containers. Now you could use the shade trap, the green version, but this one's easier to get a hold of for those that haven't been playing with the bit. But that's to trap the ghost, and then he's got the little part that they stomp their foot on. That's just a red moon vent. And of course we have the Ecto, I guess it's Ecto 1 wagon thing, the Ghostbuster wagon. Again, mostly the ice rock blocks, hammers for the handles. These windows are I think it's the garage coffee table. The mirror is domes. This is a window. That's a regular window. The back bumper is a suitcase. Tires have plates as the, what do you call it? The rims. For the headlights, I think it's upside down utility crates, cans, one of the wall shelves, soda cups, and another suitcase. The little stripes here, that's just the edges of walls. And of course the little packs and stuff up here, there's a bunch of junk going on, a lot of tanks, the little emergency warning cone thingy. Again, I'm not mechanically inclined. If somebody said you could put together a car using these pieces, I would like go, what? I wouldn't put together something like that. Well, see, that just encourages me to make a one. That'll get you out of your funk, Aurora, and we'll convince you to put together a vehicle sometime. So that is Donna Troy, aka Bucky. Bucky's monster submissions for this month's CBDC. Obviously, he had a lot of fun coming up with different ideas, and that's always welcome. The more the merrier. So our last visit for this showcase is Aurora's place. That is on Saphira Azure. Now these are going to just blow your mind. Puts all of us to shame. But awesome, incredibly awesome. Everybody's has been fantastic in their efforts putting stuff together. And Aurora's not least of all. So let me find my way to the bunker. If you're wondering about the plot in general, we toured Aurora's place a few weeks back, I think. So just up for it on an older show. But first and foremost, when I first came to this particular, checking out some of Aurora's entries, the only thing that was here was the face of Mr. Billy here. She didn't have all the other stuff already set up. So imagine my surprise when I came in yesterday evening to do screenshots of everybody's monsters to see all the work that Aurora has been doing. And I was like, what? So here's Billy. I've never seen the movie. I'm not into horror films and stuff, so I don't know much about it, but apparently it's some kind of a puppet thing from Saw, the movie. One of the Saw, I think there's multiple films, so I don't know which one or if it's on all of them or what. Have we done a vehicle one? I did one for, it was back before I opened it up to everybody. It was just a guild related one. That was when I did the Fred Flintstone car. because again, I didn't do the uh, mechanical stuff very much, so I went really old school. But officially for the CBDCs that we've been hosting every month for everyone, no, we haven't done one yet. So it's coming. I just haven't decided where I want to squeeze it in. But this month's and next November's and December's are already spoken for, so you're safe for a few months before I say build a car. But this is Billy from Saw. I have no idea other than I think it's a puppet, and apparently he rides around on a tricycle. But look at the detail on this. You can see it's mostly, it looks to be a lot of, some parts of it are, it looks like snow clumps. Some of it is the red rockets for some of the white parts. Just look at the face. It's very creepy. It looks like most of the black parts are tires. I see a little bit of, it looks like either posters or metal planks or like the trim of his tuxedo. Looks like bottle caps for the buttons on the tuxedo. Looks like more the red rocket, looks like the dynamite actually for the little hanky that's in the pocket there. But look, even buttons here, those are vent tanks. Just look at the detail on that. Apologies that my character's like right up in its face, but he's so big and you just can't zoom in really good. Look at his shoes. Those look to be all Chua pillows. Same way with parts of the bike, the seat and the little bit down here. The pedals, those are graded floor panels, I believe. And again, lots of red rockets and dynamite sticks for all of that red bit. Even took the care of putting that little red dot there. How many pieces is he, do you know? I can't imagine. He's got to be over maybe a few hundred, I'm guessing. The swirly marks on his cheeks, again, those are the dynamite sticks again. Yeah, tires for the black on his eyes. Rockets, dynamite for the mouth part. Just amazing detail. Metal planks. Oh, I'm stuck on the bike. Look, even has the little tassels coming off of the handles like a little girl's bike. Yes, there's some the fuses sticking out, but you look past that. It's just too much detail. I mean, look at the hands. I mean, look at the shoes. Even the shoes that had to have been tens of pieces there. This creepy, creepy guy. I'm kind of glad I didn't watch the movie. Because I think I would probably have nightmares about that. Okay, the second one is, I think Aurora called it a stone golem or an elemental. I think elemental probably fits better because of the little electrical part where like his hand is like kind of semi-attached to his arms, which I thought was a really clever idea, but it looks to be mostly the gray stones for all of the parts. I mean, look, you can see the fingers of the hands, the fist, and of course he's got all these mossy bits. Some of it is from the moss-covered logs. Some of it, like this part here, that looks to be like a weeping willow. He's got some trees growing on him, mossy overgrowth. Again, little willow clumps here and there. A little bit of thorny clump here. I like how those one trees, I don't know which one it's called, either the swirly trees or whatever, how the roots just kind of follow along. Very cleverly placed. Make it look like tendons or something almost. Of course, you can see his face. I'm not sure what's being used for his eyes. Probably one of the exile, one of the new light posts. Looks all buff. Got that narrow waist and that big old hunky chest there. Okay, and of course Aurora has taken up our favorite thing, painting in WildStar. She's got a knack for the framework even, making it all nice and unique. So in fact, I'm not even sure what she's using for the frames. I want to say the edges of walls, and it looks like granite walls for part of this as well, but which ones I couldn't say. It looks like maybe Cassian and Granok. But this is the Headless Horseman painting. Giant Moon, which I think is, I want to say it's plates, the metal plates, and just several of them to get that nice roundness, because again, a lot of our round items, they're more like octagons and hexagons, and you have to kind of use multiples to get it more of a nicer edge roundness to them. And if I'm not mistaken, most of the horseman himself, including his axe, the horse, everything, is all vent tanks. So I can imagine how many pieces there are there. There's quite a few. But just look at the amazing detail in making the hooves and the cape all nice and swirly. The axe itself, you know, it doesn't blend all together. Everything's positioned in a way that it looks like it fits. I mean, even the way the curve is, it fits well for like the mane of the horse and such. Of course, the rocky parts on the bottom, I think, are is that the what's it called? The taurine head statue, I want to say. Something along that line. Using some different bits to make the little gravestones, like maybe metal planks, and then a tank, part of a tank. Or no, that looks like a tire for the round one. Tip of the holographic sign. Oh, for the eyes over here. Wow, I can't get the camera to go just right. This one. Oh, okay. Holographic shop sign. I want to say those are, but then they don't look like. Maybe it's the back of the alcoves, because it has those crinkly cracks in them as well. Might be the back of alcoves. It's probably the same thing I used for that haunted house part. But amazing job. I mean, who wouldn't want that hanging in their dining room or something? I don't know what's being used for the eye. I presume it's either an orange window, the orange one, or it could be the pumpkin, piece of the pumpkin. It's pretty bright. Or one of the orange bottles. I think the orange bottles are a little darker though. It looks like it might be just one of the pumpkins. It looks about the same shade. Okay, so it is the alcove thingy. I got it eventually. So here we have the second painting. This is, for those of you that don't recognize it, Spike from the Gremlins. He's the mean one. The picture frame itself is one of those Osun links, chain links. And then it looks like exile wall for the backing. And then it looks like either, to me, it looks like curtains. The drapes, the white drapes for his hair. I'm trying to see if they're moving because I know they're pretty slight if they do move at all. But I don't see any movement whatsoever, so I'm not really sure. But I know the back part, you can see there's a plate behind there to kind of fill in the white so that it doesn't look too streaky. The yellow part of his ears, those are sandstones, and then it looks like hugels for a lot of the green around his eyes. And then the very edges of the Draken fence, it kind of looks like teeth along the tops of the fences, and I think that's what's being used for all those little bumplies on his face. For his eyes, I'm trying to get a good shot here. I'm not sure what's being used. It looks like the fireworks, the firecracker stuffs, and then they just added in some red for the eyes. Looks like a little bit of hanging cable to trim the eye part, and then threw in some white, the red rocket for the white part around the eyes. Hey, Kruja, glad you could join us. Yeah, I think most of his face is just lots and lots of hoogles. I mean, look at it, almost looks like a mustache, but I think it's supposed to be the top of his mouth. For the fangs here, this looks like sandstones again. Uh, for the pink bits, I'm not sure what those are. And the red, I suspect, is again the fireworks, the dynamite one. Yeah, the painting is great. The hair are knives. Well, that explains so much. Is it just the dinner knife that you get straight off of the vendor, or is it a different one? It looks like cleavers or something. Now that I'm looking at it, because it's got like a rounded bit. But that was smart using the plate kind of to fill in the background there. It's unfortunate that we got that silly middle thing there. The teeth are wine bottle caps. Ah. Oh, okay. I didn't realize. I guess it's supposed to be like a cork pattern on it. I would have never got that one. Hey, Rudy. Very good. I'll show it again. Here's the horseman. How fascinating is that? Now you wonder where his head is. Where is his head? The white part of the eyes are spoons. Okay. Well, I guess that would give it that nice little curve there. Anything else I missed? I'm not sure about the pink stuff. That's one thing tough about trying to figure out the right shades, the items that have the right colors that you need, but also have, don't have all these extra parts that you have to hide. Peach eggs. Well, isn't that gross? Yeah, from the vendor, there's the peach. I think there's a white one, and then there's another color, purple, I think. The gum. Eesh. Okay, so we saw the Headless Horseman painting and Spike painting the gremlin onto the dragon. How pretty is this one? Again, the framework is really fancy. It looks like the edges of maybe the Cassian walls, and then instead of using just a regular wall, they're using the looks like it's not the Gothic fence. I think it's called the ornate fence. It's the same one we've seen being used for like has the metal part for like a fireplace, the grill on the fireplace. It's the same thing there. Really lovely piece because it has that nice brick part. But notice how they've slanted it a little bit to kind of, also when you have that slanted bit for the framework, it helps give a little bit of extra depth to the painting as well. For parts of the wings, it's the sandstone, and then it looks like a lot of different strain pieces for the purple. Thankfully, Aurora picked ones that didn't pulsate and move. But which ones, I couldn't say. It looks like some of this is that new strain overgrowth. And then some of the falcon fencing for the horns there. I see a little bit of maybe some blue egg for that blue like webbing. The only moving part is the eye splotch for the eye. Most of my low levels are either level 3 or they're in their 30s and 40s. But I don't really level too much on my alts. In fact, I really don't have too much time to play out of housing, mostly just because I've been ill. What's the ones, these bighorns, what are they? I guess it's just multiples of the horns layered together to get that shape that you want. Yeah, it looks like multiples. I see 2 tips there. I don't know what strain pieces though. I suspect maybe the spine for part of this bottom part, and you just tilted it so you don't see the spiny bit. And this is maybe, I don't know, there's that one that looks like a real tall, I don't know, mushroom looking thing almost. Iron rusted fence. Yep, that's probably it. I just call it the either the ornate or, because I know there's a separate fence post out of that same material. It doesn't have the brick on it, but it has like this part here. For the black, I suspect it's the graded floor panel, but down here it kind of looks brown, so I'm not sure. Amazing job though. You guys have just taken that painting idea and just run wild with it. I love that. I wish more builders would come up with those kind of things. Last but not least, we have the Count himself. Now, Aurora went through the trouble of actually making up a little setting place here. I think this is the bottom of the spiky coffin. I want to say that's what it is. I'm not for positive, but I think it is. And then trimmed it with that gate again. This is the same stuff. Well, it's similar. This is the Shadesy version. This is the Gothic fencing. It's similar to the one that's over here. But like you have this little bat symbol, like I'm Batman. Again, it's Vin tanks, and it looks like a little bit of Chewa pillow for the eyes. But the coffin, apparently Aurora liked the coffin idea I had and just went crazy with it. So we have the nice plushly lined coffin. Aurora chose to make theirs out of books. So the lid and everything is books. You can see they added a little bat symbol to the top of the casing using looks like tubes for the edge work, triangles for the wings, the dome for the head, and looks like pillows again for the eyes. Very cute, very simple, but super effective looking. And then, of course, the coffin itself is books lined with two pillows for that nice plush looking. And then, of course, Dracula himself sitting there all creepy. Okay, so the strain pieces for the dragon is from the housing vendor, the jaw thingy. I thought that might be it, but if you're anything like me, you look for stuff that's easy to get a hold of. There's lots of other strain pieces, but a lot of them are special drops, or you have to have certain reputation with different factions and all that. So this is Count Dracula. Let's see if we can kind of identify some of this. It looks like the collar for his outfit is a combination of the graded floor panel, which I believe is what makes up most of his black outfit. His cape and everything is all the graded floor panel. And she's using the edging of it to her advantage to help kind of line it a little so that it stands out against the rest. The inside of the collar looks to be exile floors to give it a little bit of a red color. His little, looks like a bolo tie, is basically one of those shield things with some, looks like hanging cables coming out of it. His face and his hands looks like snow clumps, same with his ears. I think she chose the tires for the black hair again. Same way with the eye parts here. And then of course the massive ocular sphere for the eyes. The dynamite sticks for his lips. And then of course the falcon fence things for his fangs. For his feet, it looks like the shoes are made out of the airtight containers. And again, using the difference in color from the top to the bottom to the advantage to make it look like the soles of the shoes. And it looks like for the pants, I'm going to go with the exile fence post. I think that's what that is. Again, it's really hard to tell. But what an incredible job. Again, unfortunately, some of the details are lost at a distance, so it's not like you take a really good distance screenshot to capture it all. I attempted that when I noticed that when I was trying to take screenshots, so really hard to do. Like I was jumping up trying to grab a picture, but he looks like he's sleeping in the screenshot because his eyes don't show up. But again, that's just part of the issue when you have an item and you size it a certain size. Sometimes it disappears at a certain distance. Oh, is this all just, whoops, it's been all over the place. So this is all the airtight container for the black. See, you probably use both. But amazing stuff. Look at that. And just even the chain coming off the coffin here, that's individually, they sell it just one link, and she's taken the time to link it all around. So think of how many pieces that alone is. Granted, she's got 2,500 to work with in this one little room, but I imagine you're getting pretty close to your limit in here with all of these little projects. You're going to have to strike up a new one. Ah, okay. So it was the exile lamppost. Because that's a really nice little round part. It's the same thing I used for part of the witch hat. It just fits good. Awesome work, though. And a great end to our monster showcase, for sure. And who wouldn't want Dracula on their plot? So yeah, yet again, thank you so much, you guys, for participating in the CBDC. I hope those of you that, even if you participated or if you didn't, I hope you enjoyed taking a look at these creations, learning a little bit more about how they were made, and of course, I extremely hope that you're inspired to maybe creating your own. We often do painting type of things on the stream, so it's always a pleasure to see that that same kind of concept follows through even to, specific theme type of deals. Um, Really, uh, aside from maybe decor limits and aside from maybe your financial limits, really housing, WildStar's housing is your imagination. As far as you want to take it, you can create it, given the time and the patience to mess with the pieces. Um, but yeah, I want to thank everyone for participating, even if you don't get into every single one of the CBDCs, as long as you participate once in a while, that's amazing because I know it's not, a lot of people have to have that extra incentive of prizes and things. So I appreciate those of you that come out to do this with no reward other than to say, virtual pat on the back for doing such a great job. But I hope that you had fun. Um, and I hope that you join us for next month. We will be announcing that theme tomorrow. I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be super challenging. Even myself, I'm kind of nervous about this one because I have absolutely no idea if I'm going to be able to do it or not. But I'm going to give it a try anyway. And it might, spring up some fresh ideas on approaches to certain things that we've put together. But that will be tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. And of course, join us for the stream tomorrow while we talk about it. Now, I will warn you though, today my husband is going to be taking my computer apart because I've been having some issues not only with the screen, but the hard drive itself acts like it might be on the verge of going boom. It keeps making some weird clicking noises and stuff, especially when I'm playing games and things. So he's going to be taking it apart today. Fingers crossed, everything's put back together and working by tomorrow. If it isn't, I will be posting the CBDC announcement in the forums and on Twitter, if nothing else. So be sure and check for that if by chance um, I'm not able to stream tomorrow. But the plan is we will be announcing November's theme tomorrow. So be sure and keep a lookout for that. I hope it's something that everyone can get behind and throw on their thinking caps for, and check if, see if they think they can put something together for it. Even if it's a small thing, which, uh, well, not to spoil it, but uh, I think it'll be something interesting. It's going to be fairly open, so theme-wise, I think it's going to be um, very flexible, so that everybody will have a chance to contribute something. Um, yeah, Aurora, that's what I do with a lot of these. It's very handy with Katia's add-on, being able to make sets. Saving these precious little creations is uh, it's takes the weight off your back, because in the beginning, before we had the KBT sets to be able to save them, it was such a pain and heartbreaking to remove something just to add something new. So yeah, this is a blessing that we can save these sets, even though you might not have a place to put them right now. Maybe later you'll find a place or bring them out for next year. Hopefully you will do that. But yeah, it's some incredible work. Always a treat. Thank you guys again for joining us. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. I'm pretty floored by all of the contributions for this month. So I'm delighted that we had so many entries. And hopefully that spurs more people to get into these challenges that we have every month, and have some more things to show off for next month. Again, we'll be announcing next month's theme tomorrow, November 1st, so check it out. And in the meantime, thank you again. Not only those that built, but those that joined us for the show. Um, Thank you for the follows, the tweets, the retweets, the general support. It's always appreciated. And of course, the chat. I appreciate those that come out to chat with us and share their insights and advice and suggestions and things. So I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Shades Eve. Um, be careful if you're going out doing any kind of trick-or-treating or partying tonight for Halloween. And of course, happy building. I'll see you guys later. Thank you again, and bye.